G'day there, this is the week 20 or 5 month, if you prefer, update post a total anatomical shoulder replacement. So there's two main developments that have happened over the last month. The first one is that I've achieved the main goal I'd set for myself in rehabilitation, and that was to be able to do a full push-up off the floor. So that happened sort of in between months, well, in between week 16 and week 20. I think it was week 17 where I finally managed to progress from knee push-ups to full floor push-ups. There's a bit of catching initially in the first rep, and there's a bit of discomfort, which is getting better all the time. And I've actually progressed along nicely. Originally, I think I started off doing 4 or 5 push-ups, and I'm now up to 3 sets of 20. And in fact, on some days I've managed to smash out 5 sets of 20. So I don't think that's too good for me old shoulders. I think I might just keep it at 3 sets of 20 from here on. But that's great. That's essentially, that's all the pushing strength I wanted to get back. That was what I was doing right before the operation. I don't feel any need to go back to heavy bench pressing or anything like that. It's not recommended after shoulder replacement. And to be honest, I'm getting some really good gains out of the push-ups and some light dumbbell chest presses. So that's great. The second update I can give you, or the second noteworthy milestone, is I've now reached the point where for most of the time my left shoulder, the operable or the operative shoulder, feels better than the non-operative shoulder, my right shoulder. So I know from the MRI reports I've got a little bit of arthritis in this shoulder, not very much. It's listed in the MRI report as minimal arthropathy in the glenohumeral joint. I've got some tendinopathy as well and some bursitis. But I can genuinely say that this shoulder now feels, the one that had the shoulder replacement now feels better most of the time than the non-operated shoulder. So that's good in a way. It's also reminds me that this shoulder may need some attention years down the track. The surgeon said to me he doesn't want to look at it for another 18 months anyway. So I won't be getting any operations on this shoulder for at least 18 months. There you go, which is fine by me. I think once is enough for a lifetime, but if I need to do it again in the future, at least I know what's coming. Life very much back to normal now. So this is my last week in Perth. Next week, on Saturday of next week, in fact, we are driving back to Kununurra in the East Kimberley. So that's a 3,300 kilometre drive. And my wife's going to fly down and we're going to do the drive together in case anything happens, unless I need to change a tyre or anything like that. So it's good to have a second person helping. And it's been a long time since I've done a big long road trip. You know, it's going to take about 4 days of solid driving to get back up there. So the next update you'll definitely see us living back in the Kimberley up in Kununurra. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to getting back to my life and my house and living with my wife again. I guess the lessons I'm reflecting on at the moment, I think I've already said it in previous updates. There's no linear progression with improvement. Some days are better than others. It's only when you look back over 3 or 4 weeks that you sort of notice, actually, yeah, I've made some progress in that time. It's very difficult to do day by day. You know, you have to really look at it over a month to see the real progress. That's what I've found anyway. Secondly, reach out for help. I've covered that one before. If the pain's bad, if something's worrying you, don't sit there stewing on it. Reach out, go and see your GP or your surgeon or whoever you can get to see. In terms of my physique now, I can show you now pretty easily. You can see I can take my shirt off easily now, but there's my physique now. So I'm pretty much where I was before. The atrophy I had during the layup from my operation is gone now. I'm swimming 2 times a week. I'm jogging 2 times a week, 3 times a week, full upper body workout. I'll put that upper body workout actually up on the screen now so you can have a look at what I'm doing. And I'll leave it up there for a while. You can see the various activities, and I'm not using any seriously heavy weights. I'm just using light, I think the heaviest thing I'm lifting at the moment is 10 kilo dumbbells for biceps and triceps, and I use a 17.5 kilo dumbbell for squats. I did get a few questions on one of the Facebook pages saying, are you sure you're supposed to be doing push-ups? You know, my surgeon told me never to do push-ups, or never to do anything other than about 10 pounds or something like that. Now, obviously everyone has different advice from different surgeons. There's also, if you've had a reverse shoulder replacement, that's a very different recovery than an anatomical replacement. But what I can tell you is that I followed the progressions as put out in the physiotherapy rehabilitation book precisely. So you start off wall push-ups, you progress to bench push-ups, to push-ups off your knees, and then finally floor push-ups. So you only make that progression when you're ready to progress, and you don't go any faster than, upgrading your challenge. You don't progress faster than once every fortnight. So I'm fairly confident that it's perfectly safe to go back to some moderate, strength work, including push-ups, or probably, if you wanted to, some lighter bench presses. And my surgeon sort of put in my head that if you're working around 20 reps, a weight that you can comfortably control with good form for 20 reps, that's fairly safe. So I'm pretty confident. Again, check with your surgeons and doctors, but I'm happy with where I'm at. As I said, I don't want to go back to powerlifting. I know lots of people do. I'm pretty happy with the results I'm getting just from, push-ups and the light weights that I'm using at the moment. I'm perfectly happy with how it's going now. The last thing I'll probably say as well is that I'm still quite behind in terms of range of motion on this side as compared to the non-operative shoulder. And to be honest, I know it's month number 5. It continues to get better from 6 to 12 months. So I may get more range of motion. To be honest, if I didn't get any more than what I've got, it's really not that big a deal to me. It's very functional. The range of motion I've got is very functional. Allows me to do all the jobs I want to do. So I'm not particularly worried about, whether I'm going to get up to a certain number of degrees in flexion or scaption or whatever. Now I'm functional, and I can get through the range of motion that I have without much pain. So from that regard, the shoulder replacement's been a complete success. Yeah, so thanks for watching. That's really all the updates I have for week 20. I'll make another update at the 6-month mark, which is technically the end of the recovery, even though it continues to improve up to 12 months. But yeah, I'll give you another update then, and that will be coming to you from Kununurra in the East Kimberley. I'll be back at home and back in my routine. So that should be a really interesting one to see how close to normal routine my life gets at the 6-month mark, and my guess is pretty bloody close. So all the best. Send us a message if you have any questions. Reach out. I think we've got to help each other, and there's not a lot on the internet about shoulder replacement recovery, certainly not people's experiences anyway. So all the best if you're about to have this or undertake this, or you're thinking about undertaking it, and we'll catch you soon.